Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and today I want to talk about Tron. There's been some big news about Disney potentially wanting to, air quotes, reboot Tron. And as somebody who's a fan of the Tron films, most notably Tron Legacy, I was also a fan of the animated series that was the sort of precursor to that, Tron Uprising. And I do love the original film. Of course, I grew up with it, and Jeff Bridges and everything reprised his role of Flynn, and we had his son debuted in Legacy and everything like that. We're introduced to the character Cora and everything like that, Clue, and just all that stuff. I love the lore of Tron. I love Tron all told. It's a fascinating world, and I've been really chomping at the bit to want to see a continuation from where Legacy left off. So there's one part of me that is really uber stoked and excited for the idea of more Tron. Give me more Tron. The rumors are suggesting that they may be seeking to reboot it with Jared Leto playing a chief character, a main role in it. And, that could be anything from he's someone internalized to the grid. It could be he's the human component. It's really uncertain, unclear. I don't really know much of the details. I'm kind of trying to stay a little bit, back, because I don't want to get my excitement up and everything like that if it ends up not, playing out to actually happen. But at the same time, while I have that excitement, I'm also trepidatious and I'm also kind of frustrated because there was supposed to be a Tron 3. There was supposed to be a continuation of the story as was left off in Legacy, and it was a very promising, intriguing prospect because effectively what, Flynn's son manages to do, he manages to escape the grid with someone who was internalized to it, Cora. Olivia Wilde's character in Legacy. She was able to break free of the grid. And what does that mean for the grand design of the Tron sort of universe? Could anything come out? There was sort of some bio-natural elements to Cora as a physical being that may have spelled her being able to come out of the grid. We're not really sure. And it was, wanting to explore exactly how that was capable in a follow-up story. That was the driving question, to build upon what they had basically left off with and answer to those questions. Well, how was Cora able to come out of the grid? Are other things able to also come out of the grid? Could Clue actually, he was trying to build an army. Could he manifest himself and this army to try to conquer the Earth outside the grid? Would he be capable of coming out of it and exist being neurons and all these electro, sort of bits and bobs and all that kind of stuff? Technologically speaking, it enters a whole new sort of framework of sci-fi fantasy theorem, and so to really see that quelled and we're not picking up with that, at least if these reports of it being a reboot, this project with Jared Leto, I'm just conflicted because I want more Tron. Give me more Tron any day of the week. But at the same time, a reboot that makes a clean break of everything that was built up in Legacy, it's kind of like a smack across the face. Maybe there's a way they could soft reboot it and follow on in some loose capacity. But I don't want loose capacity. I want Olivia Wilde back. I want, Flynn's kid back and everything like that. I want to see a continuation of this story, even if it happens to be from a different perspective, putting the focus on a character portrayed by Jared Leto. He's a good actor. I'm not in any way against his being in a Tron movie. But forget this reboot crap. I want a continuation. I want to see the story continue. I was invested in those characters. I was invested in the world. They added so much more to it with the Uprising animated series that was cut too short, all too short, canceled early. They could have done so much more, and to have people like Bruce Boxleitner come back playing Tron and everything, voicing Tron, reprising, much as he did in Legacy. There's so much to the lore. I don't want them going back to square one and retelling the story. Like if you could find some creative way of maybe remaking the first movie in a sense, kind of rebooting, remaking it, but still having it conform to where Legacy begins, lining up to that with modern technology, that could be fascinating from like a different character perspective, and you know, do the whole CG version of the young Bridges, you know, his character Flynn, kind of like what they did in Legacy with Clue. Okay, maybe that could be interesting. You know, not calling back on what you set up in Legacy, all that foundation for something that promised to be highly intriguing sci-fi fantasy storytelling, to just trash that. I don't know. I'm really kind of irked by that. As I say, it really kind of bothers me and peeves me to no end to think that that just might be it. You know, I want to see more. I want to see more of that world as it was left off in Legacy. Now, granted, all that said, frustration aside, I will still watch anything Tron any day of the week. So if they do end up rebooting it and starting it fresh and however that plays out, still going to be there with bells on. I still want to see what they're going to do, and hopefully it'll wow me to no end. But I don't think anything they produce would ever have me dial back from the desperate want to see a continuation of where Legacy left off. And I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below if you're a Tron fan at all, even remotely, what you think of this, especially if you liked Tron Legacy. I think a lot of people who loved that film, and there were a lot of people who did, who weren't even familiar with the original Tron, and kind of look back at that as like being ridiculous. You run into the same thing with the Whovian sort of thing, where there are people who love the modern series and laugh and scoff at the original, the classic series, and that always irks me. You know, in any way, shape, or form, you always got to respect the old school. You always got to respect what came before, because without it, you wouldn't have gotten the thing you love in the modern estimation. And you know, anything goes in the comments below. Love it or hate it. You know, really uber excited or having the same kind of reservations I am. Let me know your thoughts on Disney potentially rebooting Tron with Jared Leto and potentially cutting off all ties with where we left in Legacy. What are your thoughts? And so yeah, always love having that conversation. That'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.